Okay, here's the recipe everyone has been waiting for. Butter chicken. So I have a very simple recipe, but if you cook it with the tips and tricks that I'm going to show you, it will be good butter chicken every single time. So what makes this recipe so simple is this great butter chicken spice box. In the spice box, there is this packet of the seasoning mix. So with this, you don't have to think about the seasoning, the amount of spices that go in there, no measuring spices. It's a simple mix in there. And then along with that, you will have this is about 5 tomatoes, 5 medium tomatoes that I blended with about half a cup of water. You have 1 kg of chicken, so 1,000 grams. You need this heavy whipping cream. I have in this bowl about half a bottle. This is 500 grams, so you're looking at about a little over a cup in here. To make it a little extra creamy, I love adding a little bit, like a tablespoon of creme fraiche. And you're gonna stir fry your chicken in oil, so about a couple of tablespoons. I have here butter chicken, so you need butter. We're looking at about a little over a 1/3 cup. This right here is optional. These are about 4 or 5 cashews blended up, and where you can use what I use is my little coffee grinder, so little cashew powder here. But I marinated the chicken with about a quarter of the spice packet. And let's see, in the rest of the spice packet, I will put in this tomato sauce. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in a little bit. Okay, so I am cooking the chicken. You can see the chicken has a little bit of a marinade on there for about 5 to 10 minutes, just till the chicken is about 3/4 way done. In the meantime, and this is one of the tricks that I'm talking about, I am boiling the tomato sauce that I made with fresh tomatoes. Again, you blend about 4 to 5 medium to large tomatoes with half a cup of water, and you are going to boil the tomatoes to cook them as much as you can. And the reason why I do this is because it cooks up my tomatoes really well, and so I don't have to overcook my chicken when I'm trying to cook it in the chicken sauce. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a little bit when this is just about halfway done. So I'm going to keep stirring this for about 10 minutes. Make sure all of my chicken is cooked. And then I'll come back and show you guys the rest of the recipe. So here's my chicken. I've been cooking it for about 5 to 7 minutes. I had turned off the stove because my tomato sauce was not where I needed it to be yet. So I just turned it back on high, giving it another swirl. But my tomato sauce is almost where I needed it to be, or need it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and add this now to our chicken. And again, I'll explain later why I do this. And I think when you see the final product, you'll probably understand a little better as well. So now we're gonna cook the chicken in this tomato sauce on a medium-low for about another 10 minutes. and then we'll come back and add our cream and butter, and I will come back and show you the next steps. Okay, so our butter chicken with the tomato sauce has been cooking for about 10 minutes, covered. And in between, I stirred it about 3 times just to make sure it doesn't stick on the bottom, and it also helps it cook better. So make sure when you do set aside the the chicken to cook with the tomato sauce, that the lid is covered and you're on a medium low. So this is what I need to happen with this. You see the bubbles? That's when you know, okay, my tomato sauce is cooked. And again, this is one of the tricks that I'm talking about. This means that most of the water in my tomato sauce has evaporated. My seasonings, my spices have really gotten into the chicken, into the sauce. You can see it's a little thick consistency, and that's what I want. Now, a shortcut, if you don't have tomato sauce at home, you can use the bottled tomato sauce and use that, but only if you're in a rush or in a hurry or don't have tomatoes at home. So now we're going to add our cream, our heavy whipping cream. And I added about a tablespoon of creme fraiche in here. So we have our cream and butter in here now. So tip number 2, many recipes say that cook the butter chicken and then add the cream and butter and only cook it for like a few more minutes. I actually let this cook for another 10 minutes, sometimes a little bit more, until I see the oil kind of evaporating on top. So you'll see what I'm talking about in a little bit. I feel like when you cook the cream a little bit more, the butter chicken just takes on this different flavor, and it's still creamy, but it just has more flavor and the spice just comes out more. But again, I will show you what I mean in a little bit. We're gonna let this cook on low, covered, for about 10 minutes and see where we are. Okay, so the butter chicken is done. I cooked it on low, medium, low, low for about the last 10 minutes, and then turned off the stove for about 5 minutes. In between, I did stir 3 times. If you don't, the chicken gets stuck, the cream goes all the way to the bottom and it burns, so you don't want that. So make sure while it's on low, at least 3 to 4 times go in there and stir it up and make sure it's not sticking on the bottom. So this is what the butter chicken should look like. As you can see, the oil, the butter comes up. So once you're done boiling it or cooking it for the last 10 minutes, I like this orangish color, not that yellow orange, more on the reddish orange color, and this is the color that I'm looking for in my butter chicken. And in the end, what I'm looking for is, did the oils come up? So after cooking on low for about 10 minutes, covered, and letting it sit after you turn off the stove for about 5 minutes, you'll see all the oil comes up and your butter chicken is ready to be eaten.